no Andrew Lang, but
Welcome to the Stiff Truth. We have a very, very special show for everybody today. Not only is it, Bob, our 20th episode, but it's also Father's Day. So, again, I didn't even tell you who the hell I am, but it's Scott Castelnova over here. I got Bob West with me. And how are you doing on this beautiful Father's Day, sir?
I'm doing good. Got all of my things to get done out of the way today.
So you've already been drinking?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting until our very special stiff drink.
Nice.
But I did think about it. So, but I had a really good breakfast that I barely had to cook anything for. So that was pretty awesome.
That's
I've
always
got
nice.
A special dinner coming later. The kids all have been being less assholes to me, so that's good.
Always nice when they're less assholes. I like that. Very good.
Just Father's Day takes the edge off of the assholeness from the kids. No,
That's
they've been great. They've been, giving me the happy Father's Day and not be sassing back too much. So yeah, it's been a really good day.
nice. Pretty similar in the sense of I did wake up to my daughter bringing in a nice little Father's Day gift and a card for me. She got me this mug. I think it says Daddy's Universe, and on the other side there's two planets, and one says Mommy and the other one says Elizabeth. Very adorable. Then she insisted on not letting me get out of bed, which I was already up before this, but I was told I needed to go back to bed because she wanted to bring me my coffee in bed. So that was very sweet. And then, I also had an amazing breakfast that I had no part in preparing. So I can't complain. Getting pampered today. I don't know if I deserve it, but I'll take it, man. Anytime I can get it, right? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And besides besides today, obviously a special day for all the fathers out there. I mean, how was the week?
The week was really good. It's been really busy. School sucks.
Yeah.
It's a crazy work, but it's been an interesting week news-wise for me. So that keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
We never have a quiet news cycle anymore.
No, we don't. It's action packed, my friend. So I'm sure we'll get into a little bit of that here soon. Wowza. Well, and again, the other thing, man, it's really hard to believe 20 of these bad boys knocked out, huh? That's just crazy, man. I'm loving that.
Yeah, I was on the Xbox yesterday, and we're looking at our subscriptions whenever we go to the Stiff Truth, and it's just packed full of content.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have, hours and hours of just amazing quality content.
Okay. Maybe not that many hours, but there's a lot in there. Yeah, no, it's cool though, man, because it's 20 episodes knocked out. I don't know. Again, I'm no Andrew Lang. I can't do quick math or anything. I don't know how many months that is. Can you do that for me real quick?
Yeah, it's 5.
Beautiful. You're doing math right now for school, right?
I am.
I can tell. I can tell. 5 months knocked out, and we still aren't that sick of each other, too, which I thought was really interesting.
I mean, not any more than when we started. So
yeah, exactly. Good. It hasn't escalated anymore, which is I'm very proud of us for that. Keeping our cool and biting our lips and, just pushing through until the alcohol kicks in, right?
That's why we only do one show a week, and we drink during that. So
yes, we also have cocktails during our brainstorming sessions during the week too. Yes, it's definitely
our brainstorming sessions. That's the only other time I drink.
Yeah, me too. 100%. I've been cutting down. But speaking of that, Bob, actually kind of excited a little. I don't know really how it's been going, but I'm an avid marijuana smoker. Daily use for I don't know how long. Made the decision last week to go ahead and scale it back a little bit, to cut down. Biggest reason is, well, one, I mean, when you do it so much, it kind of just, I don't want to say it loses its luster, but it does a little bit. And the other thing is, I don't know, man, it hasn't been giving me the same positive effects that it once had a lot of the time. Makes me a little bit anxious.
So I have a question. Is this a move for like a like a clarity thing, or is it because you want to hit the reset button in your tolerance so that it's cheaper for you?
Ah, you're a smart man, Bobby. You're a smart man. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know if I really am going to find some crazy magical clarity moment just by cutting down, because I do want to emphasize cutting down. There's definitely, like we were talking about last week, we're not defunding, per se, the marijuana. We are just scaling it back and maybe reallocating when we do it. So, there's a little bit of both in there, but it's new to me. And I'll tell you what, over the week, there's been plenty of times during the week, my ritual, usually after I'm done working, have dinner, have a few drinks. I usually smoke then. So there's been that absence, and there's been me coming and like staring at like a bunch of empty marijuana utensils. And it does make me a little sad. I'm not going to lie to you. So we'll see how long this goes before I either get right back into it at my normal level and normal quantity and frequency again, or maybe I kill somebody. I don't know. It's interesting, interesting to see how it's going to play out, buddy.
Well, we're all with you. We hear you.
Thank God.
We're here for you, and we're interested we're interested in seeing this all play out. We want to know how it goes and how it works out for you.
Well, I'll keep you and the Stiffies updated week by week, and who knows, next week I may be I'm back. That didn't work, so but we'll see.
You're just gonna come on the show with like a bong. I'm all in again.
Like, I'm crying while I'm hitting it. What's the matter? I'm high again. Yeah, well, just more than anything, just got to mix things up occasionally, right? I do the same thing with alcohol occasionally, just kind of, scale it back a little bit. I think it's important to do it, don't you? Every now and again.
Give the kidneys and the liver a break.
Yeah,
let them catch up.
Yeah, because they're screaming and punching me every day. But, when I take a little break, they're relaxed for a while. So, yeah, I think it's a nice little...
for a jog, and most people, hold their diaphragm from losing breath. You're, coming back like a pregnant woman with one hand on each kidney.
Son of a bitch. But, yeah, so interesting stuff. But we can move on from that. We don't need to talk about my...
I noticed you just drank that glass of water with one hand. Good for you.
Yeah, I've got some good dexterity and some good grip. As you know, I got some great grip. So, yeah, look at you. Want to see that?
Look at that. Look at that focus and control there.
Like a fucking champ. You know what I mean? Now, our boy Trumpy, though, oh, my God. Take a look at this guy, huh? Look at this guy. What's he doing there?
So, interesting thing is, I don't even remember what he was talking about because I couldn't focus on what he was talking about. I just remember he gave up to give a speech like I don't know, probably like 5 days ago, maybe a week ago. And he goes to take a glass of water and he just brings it up to his lips and does this number. And then he just freezes there. He can't finish it off. Right? He has to get his other hand up under the cup like so. And do this number. And then he sets it down. It was just the strangest thing. You made it all the way there, man. You're right there. You're right there. Just finish her off. Okay, 2 hands for safety. 2 hands for safety. I get it. It was just the weirdest thing that I noticed. And you didn't even see it. So I was like, Scott, you got to check out this video. Why is he struggling to drink this, small, low ball glass of water? I really couldn't understand. What did you think of that?
Well, honestly, maybe I give this guy a little too much credit sometimes. I've been guilty of that. But when you said that, I was like, get the fuck out of here, Bob. What are you talking about? He's drinking with 2 hands like a little retarded toddler or something like that. But you're right. It was very interesting. And we were talking about it before the show. It's like, what did you say earlier? He thought he could go for it, right? And he didn't have it in him. And he had to literally coddle the glass of water and finish the job to actually get it to his lips. So I don't know, because I'm kind of torn about this one, because I was watching the videos that you had sent me, and even within those videos, there's him doing gestures and other things that are very fluid, very normal looking. But the water itself, it was very puzzling to me, because I've seen him in frames too where he does drink water with one hand. I've seen it. So it's not completely universal, but it is very odd to me. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a couple of things going on here. One, Trump's maybe losing it, right? And he just doesn't have the motor skills quite like he used to anymore. And he's trying to maybe hide that a little bit and keep it together so he doesn't pour water all over the fucking side of his face like he has a drinking problem. Like,
just like, oh, I got it. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Exactly. Wait, it reminds me of the movie Airplane, right? He's like, well, that's when I realized I had a drinking problem, and he fucking like shits it's a shot glass on the top of his head. But so there's that, and then the other thing that I could think about is maybe he's just always had this very peculiar way of drinking water. Maybe he's a very safe man, or he likes to give it 110%. I kind of equate it to like, okay, this is going to go way out in left field with my example here, but if Trump was sucking dick, he'd be very good at it because the way he drinks water, he's going to make sure that he not only gets it in there, but he cuffs the balls and cradles the balls, right? Exactly. So he does, I don't know, and I'm not saying that's what he does, but it reminded me of something like that, like somebody that's really, really taking the job seriously when they're doing a BJ. You know what I mean?
Well, beyond the POTUS BJs, I not to go conspiracy theorist, but there's a few things here that are a little bit alarming for me, right?
Well, I know it's got to make you a little bit excited too.
Maybe 10 days to 2 weeks ago, Trump has the mysterious trip in the middle of the night to go to the hospital, right? Like there's doctors on staff, there's a medical wing, like he doesn't have to go anywhere for anything. So it's very odd that he all of a sudden has to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. The administration says that it's just routine stuff, and I'm like, yeah, routine stuff that you have to go in the middle of the night for when you have a doctor on staff. Like, that's fucking weird, right? So, and then there's another thing is after the hospital trip, then he was going to that event where he struggled to drink the water, and he was going down that ramp, right? And you saw the video, I'm sure, where he took those last couple of steps and he's kind of shimmying down the rest of it or whatever.
It was like he was very proud of himself to get down it at the very end. He almost looked like he wanted to high five the guy next to him.
Yeah, I don't know if he like lost his balance, or I don't know what happened there. I don't really care about that. That's not the part that concerns me. The part that concerned me is if you watch how he walked down the ramp, it was very gingerly, and it looked like he was favoring one side of his body, like he was kind of walking with a limp, very stiff, right? And so then I thought, maybe he's got some like sciatica working. He's an old man, doesn't work out much. Maybe there's like tendonitis going. Maybe that's why he's struggling to drink. I don't know. But there's definitely something going on, and the mystery, I gotta go to the hospital in the middle of the night thing is very strange. So I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but I do think that there's some health things that he's not letting anyone in on.
I have to agree with that, dude, and especially since like his doctors have been giving him this like amazing clean bill of health every single year. When that's horseshit. You look at the man, dude. I mean, he cannot be that healthy. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call out people that are overweight or orange and tan too much or whatever it is, but the guy does not look healthy at all. And apparently, I don't know if you read that too, but his doctor reported that his cholesterol is down from last year. All this stuff, everything is just looking really good for this guy. I don't buy it. I don't buy that at all. And I did find that very peculiar, the way he walked down there, because he really looked like he was like a 95-year-old man that just got out of surgery or something. Right. He was really, really taking it easy. And like the guy next to him, I think was he like a general or something, because this was the West Point one, right? Yeah, the guy next to him was just like walking down normal too. So the reason why I mentioned that is I don't know if he saw his tweet, because he did talk about that. He didn't talk about the water thing, which I thought he might want to do that. But he said that it was very steep. No, it was a very, very, very steady grade. It wasn't very steep. And he also
said made for like a hover round. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And then he also said it was very slippery. So he said he walked like that because the last thing that he wanted to do is fall down and give the fake news, basically ammo to make fun of him and everything like that. I was like, dude, okay, it's super slippery and it's very steep. The other guy that looked like he was in his 70s as well, that was walking right next to you, is walking down like business as usual. So that was a little strange, just kind of comeback too. I don't think that really worked out if you really look at things.
All I know is if I was POTUS, I would have the inflatable slide every time I got off the plane. Yeah. There's the emergency inflatable slide. That's slide down every time. Slide down, honey. Let's hold hands and jump.
Yeah. slide down, and then have one of your interns kind of bending over. That way, when you're coming down, smack her in the
Right?
That's how I make an entrance, baby.
Just every time, just sliding down the sick like yellow, inflatable slide. That's every time. I would waste the taxpayer dollars on a new one every single time. It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd pull the ripcord and let it fill up and then slide down it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man, it is very strange because I can't say I know or anything like that, but I would have to say that Trump and every president, right, really is probably going to want to shield some of this stuff. If their health is deteriorating, we talked about FDR the other day, right, when we were chatting about this. You don't want to show weakness. You don't want to show weakness in front of the American people, and you definitely don't want to show weakness into the world leaders out there.
It's not 4 months before voting day.
Exactly. This is a poor time to show that you've got dementia or Parkinson's or something like that. So interesting. I'm going to be focusing on it a lot more now. Every time I watch Trump, I'll go, dude, do it. Go for the water and see what happens.
Watch. He's going to stop like drinking in public soon.
Or you know what he's going to do? He's going to get a sippy cup. That way you can avoid the whole thing. You remember those old sippy cups in like the 80s that were all like neon colors and plastic or whatever, and they had the nice little straws that came out. Yeah, but with a longer straw. That way he doesn't even have to bend down. He literally will just bring it over here and be all.
He's got like 4 bendy straws like pieced together, so he can just hold it down by his hip.
Or, just because he says that he doesn't have time for any bullshit, he could just wear one of those camelbacks, right?
Yeah, get the little camel pack on. He's got the little thing.
Yeah, why not?
He's like this, and then he has to get the other one. You're a real asshole, Bob. You're a real asshole.
I'll tell you what, man. But interesting. Very interesting, Bob.
So, yeah, not to bag on, old Trumpy and his politics or anything. I just noticed that he seemed to have a hard time, and he seems to be going through some sort of physical ailment. And I thought it was worth bringing up in case people haven't noticed.
Check him out, guys. Trump drinks water like a small, retarded child. Oh, there you go, Bob. Oh, be careful.
I made it. It was touch and go there for a minute.
It was, dude. You almost lost it. I was worried on that last, turn that you made into the mouth. It was difficult.
Telling you, we're going to be breaking down that glass of water like they break down like the JFK footage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Play by play, literally
frame by frame. Yeah, that's right. Here you see a right hand comes from the direction of the grassy knoll to aid the left hand.
Watch his head back and to the left. Oh, that's horrible. Too soon?
No, I don't think like 60 years is too soon.
Okay, good. I didn't want to.
I think everyone's gotten over that one.
I didn't want to be raunchy and just. Ugh. Anyways, well, so what do you think about the stimulus package? Was great, right? You got your money. I got my money actually finally, which is great. The small businesses out there. I know that I know we had talked about this. I actually had to do some research there, but where'd all this money go, Bob?
That's a great question, and it's a question that's being asked, right?
And they should be asking.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I want to say it was like the mass majority of the stimulus package went to small businesses.
Apparently, allegedly.
Because it was something like $1.2 trillion or something that went to small business loans. And then $500 billion went directly to like corporate bailouts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the rest of whatever was left, the 300 million or whatever, that's what actually came to people's pockets. Those numbers might, be a little bit off, but you get the idea. That's a great question. So it went for the paycheck protection loan, right? Is what it was. So if you're a small business with the COVID relief package, you could apply for this loan through the. Is that why
it's called the PPP?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So
I didn't even know what the hell that meant when I kept reading it. I was like, okay, it's just the acronym for this part of the loan. But thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Every now and then, right? So you get this loan, and the idea of the loan is so that you can keep your business staffed for 2 months. It was only really for 2 months. This is how the loan was structured. So you get this loan and you keep your business staffed for 2 months, and then you pull everyone back at the same rate and get them physically working again after 2 months, and then prove that you didn't lose any payroll. Then that payroll protection loan becomes a grant, and you then get to keep the money. Now, here's a little caveat: is a lot of businesses couldn't do that, right? So after 2 months, they weren't ready to bring their staff back in and operate in the black. Bringing their full staff back in would put a lot of those businesses out of business.
Mhm.
So a lot of the small businesses gave the loan back, even after they had gotten it, because they saw the forest through the trees in 2 months' time. I don't want this loan as a loan. If I could get it to get my employees through from A to B and then get it back and then get that money as a grant and use it as intended, then fine. But if I have to go past that and then I can't fully staff and operate not at a loss, then it becomes an actual normal loan. And they didn't want to. A lot of businesses didn't want to take a loan right now. So yeah, a lot of businesses did get that money back.
A lot of businesses, from what I understand, real true small businesses didn't see a fucking dime of this shit yet either.
Right. Because the
that's
money
the other
went
thing.
so fast that the mom and pop businesses that really needed it weren't able to access it because the funds, the well ran dry. Right.
But
and that's when Congress started asking the questions.
yeah, because that was the point of the loan, right? That was the point of the loan. It's like to get it to the small mom and pop businesses. And what I found very interesting, but it's not surprising to me though, is a lot of this money first and foremost went to very big corporations. And I was like, that's interesting.
It's a $10 million max, and it's small business, which I believe is any business under like 50 people, I think, is a small business.
I love that. We talked about this too, how that small business is not quantified off how much profit and how much revenue you have, but yet just how many employees. You could literally just have a company, a multi-billionaire could start a company with just him and his buddy, and he'd be classified as a small business. Loophole.
And they did.
Yes, they did.
For real. There was businesses spun up just to get this money. Think of it. There's a $10 max loan, right? So if you had a lot of money to spend up and throw into your corporation, your LLC or whatever, and throw 10 people on payroll and then go apply for the loan, then you can get $10 million if your revenue was high enough. So if you could throw $100 million in there, you could make a 10% return on that, right? So if you have $300 million and a $10 million max, that's, I know Andrew Lang, but that's only 30 people getting max, 30 businesses, and that money's gone, right?
Yeah.
So if you had even 20 people that were looking to max out those loans, 20 fucking businesses in America, then people couldn't get a $50,000 loan to float their payroll, right? Because that's what it was really for. So yes, they may not have had the time to put the fail safes in to prevent legal loopholes, but then ethically and business ethics, if you don't need that money, you shouldn't be chasing it. This is an opportunity to come up. Because if the market crashes because you took the opportunity to come up, your business will overall fail, all right? Unless you just plan on shutting it down after you make that 10% return.
Sorry, I got stuck on something. When you said business ethics, I just thought of Billy Madison. It's like how they tripped up Homeboy or whatever. It's like business ethics or whatever. That's I'm so sorry.
So I could see how it's very easy to, for that well to run dry if there was 100 businesses all trying to get large amounts of money. That money's gone. So anyway, they're looking into it, and the administration was, nope, we'll never do it. But interesting thing, as soon as we brought it up on a topic to talk about this week, yesterday, the day before our show, they announced, all right, we're gonna get a complete list of anyone that borrowed more than $150,000, and it'll be transparent. So,
well, here's the other thing I thought was really interesting too. We looked at this too. You may know the gentleman. I can't remember his name. I think he's the richest person in Congress too. He's a Texan, right? He was one of the guys that was kind of tangled up in this. I think he's worth $27 million. I remember that. I don't remember the guy's name, but I know I remember he's worth $27 million, which is weird. But his Chrysler dealership and a couple other things in Texas that,
Oh, he's the guy that owns all the dealerships.
Yeah. Williams, I want to say something Williams or whatever, but his wife is like one of the directors of that. He finally admitted that he did take some of the money or something, but I think it's really interesting. It's not illegal for politicians and like people in the Senate and House of Representatives to take advantage of these kind of bills. But there's obviously right out of the gate a conflict of interest, if you ask me. So
Yeah.
I found that I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So, and there was numerous examples of other politicians. And you know what? This is a bipartisan fuck job too, which I thought was really interesting, right? It wasn't just Republicans that were out there kind of taking advantage. And let's face it, this is kind of one of the shittiest things you can do right now as we're trying to literally pump money back into small businesses to keep them afloat, is have these douchebag politicians take advantage of the system and take the money for themselves and their enterprises, right? But there was both the right and the left, and everybody either had their spouse as like the CEO or director of these businesses or some of their family members. I can't remember who it was, but even one of them, and she was a female rep, I believe a Democrat, but her husband is a CEO of one of the gaming companies out in Nevada that took a big chunk of it too. Now, granted, the casinos got hit really hard, but come on. You know what I mean? They're not going to bounce back. Give me a break.
Yeah, the only way a casino goes under is if Trump's managing it.
Pow!
Sorry. I just have always found that funny.
Is this thing on? Let's go.
Oh, that's a low blow. That is a low blow. Let me use two hands for that one. Yeah, I agree. I think that congressmen should not be able to really take advantage of any sort of money transactions for their businesses and bills that they have a stake in passing and legislating. I think that there's a definite conflict of interest there, and it's even debatable whether congressmen and senators should even be allowed to keep their businesses in general when they get into public office. You know, presidents are supposed to turn it over so they don't have any conflicts of interest. You can make an argument that congressmen and senators need to be running on that same philosophy.
It's almost like a separation of state and private enterprise. You know what I mean? If you're going to be tangled up and like be running businesses, you got to either delegate that to somebody else while you're in office or something. I mean, Trump, for instance, right? I mean, I think his businesses and his family has made more money since he's been in office. You know, so you can argue that.
Yeah, I was explaining to Jess, I was like, you know why he moved to Florida, right? She's like, because New Yorkers hate him. And I was like, no, it didn't have anything to really do with that. Melania stays at Trump Towers. That's where she lives. Well, Secret Service stays with First Lady, right? With FLOTUS, right? Secret Service stays there. Well, Secret Service has a lot of staff there. They have to pay a premium to stay in that hotel.
Sure.
That I believe right now Eric is in control of.
Oh, the good-looking one.
Yes. So he moved on down to Mar-a-Lago so the Secret Service could then stay there and he could double the money coming in to his establishments, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same reason when Pence had to go to Scotland and Trump made him stay at his golf course that's like literally on the other coast of the island from where he had to go, and he had to like take this 2-hour bus ride or something to get over there, but that way the money goes to his resort and him and all the Secret Service, and then it's crazy because it's all like out in the open with it. You know, most people be like, that's a bad look, let's not do that. He's so brazen about it. Like, let's just do it. What are they going to do? They're going to take me to court over a few $1 million.
So that's fake news, Bob. Right. Well, and this is just one more thing that I thought was just really why is this even like something that you have to push for? You're right that we had to take a lot of like public pressure and pressure from a lot of the Democrats too, to be like, hey, we need to know, disclose, be transparent here. Where's this money going? Who got it? And at first, as you know, the Trump administration was fighting like disclosing anything, which is very interesting to me because even the Small Business Administration and the Treasury Department have rules about disclosure and being transparent, and they were fighting that. So yeah, they're finally doing something, which is great. But if nobody would have squeaked a wheel here, I don't think we'd have any idea if this money ever made it to the right place, which is a little freaky to me.
The alarming thing is why the cloak and dagger with this? Right? Why is this not just out in the open? I
Exactly.
mean, obviously the businesses that got the money like for legit reasons, and they're trying to keep their restaurant afloat or whatever until their staff can come back. They don't have anything to hide. Why would they give a shit about being on the list? This is going to give them a little bit more exposure when everyone looks at these lists. Um, so why the need to conceal this list and the fight so hard to be like, we can't let anyone see this list of where this money went. Well, why not? If everything's on the up and up, that's not a crazy request. This is fucking taxpayer money and a lot of it,
Yeah,
right?
a shitload.
Historical amount of money. Like we need
I
to.
believe it's the biggest amount of money ever distributed this way,
Right.
to small businesses, if I read that correctly. Or excuse me, not to small businesses, to corporate cronies and rich people.
In general, like
Yeah.
I mean, it's bigger than the 2008 bailout.
Yeah.
Right. So no, that was what 700 million, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is a travesty." Yeah, just wait a decade or so. We'll have another one coming, and this is like $2 trillion going out, and like I said, only like 300 million went to actual like everyday Americans' hands. So I don't know. It's very very odd. This whole thing strikes me. Something stinks about it. Something smells bad. So we'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of months and see if we find out before election. I have a feeling that we won't.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm sure the House Democrats are really pushing for it. You know what I mean? It would just make their case to get him the fuck out of office a little bit stronger. But yeah, interesting, man. I don't know why that we've got to push so hard to figure out where our fucking money is going, especially when it's supposed to be going back to a lot of us, right? So, anyways,
yes, taxpayer money should always be transparent.
Yeah, 100%. Just like what the fuck Trump is doing in my picture here. Why is he coddling that thing? You know what I mean? Why is he coddling that glass of water? I don't know.
See it, you can't unsee it now. It'll drive you crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, and that he's got this weird look at me too. Like he's drinking and looking at me at the same time. So that's very, very it's unnerving. Can I say that?
Like this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I'm taking
eyes up.
It's like when I'm taking a drink of something and I'm paranoid about the person sitting across from me or something like that. Like I cannot break eye contact, but I'm thirsty as fuck. You know what I mean? So interesting stuff going on, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in America right now. A lot of unrest, a lot of just wild, wacky stuff. You know what I mean?
Easy, Johnny. Easy.
Wild and wacky stuff.
So, I think you're right. And that's why when I got my stimulus, I went and got my new pump action 12 gauge Benelli shotgun. Thank you, Benelli.
Yeah, you sure did. I got my stimulus too. I haven't really done much with it, but Bob, I'll tell you what, with the state of I'll just say the U.S. right now, not really the world. The world is not nearly as crazy as we are right now. I mean, it's pretty crazy out there. It's pretty chaotic.
You think the Taliban like watches Fox News and is just like, you guys see this shit?
You see what these crazy fuckers? Sure, we fucking stone women to death for looking at another guy, but these guys are fucking out of hand. What are they doing over here?
Oh, allegedly. No. Did you see that? What they did to the target?
But seriously, we were talking about this. You got yourself numerous weapons, I believe, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Even though I wholeheartedly believe that everybody should be armed to the teeth, I don't have any guns, Bob. And I started to think to myself, we were talking about it here, what's going on? I was like, I need to arm myself. What's going to stop somebody from busting into my house and taking all my shit if I can't protect myself? And it's very interesting that I've been surrounded around guns and people that love just going to ranges and hunting and things like that. And yet I don't have a weapon. So I think it's time for me to arm up there, but I think it's very, I almost want to say contrary to my ideas and beliefs about gun ownership in general too, which I don't know why I'm slacking here, Bob.
So for home defense, I would suggest the shotgun.
A Benelli, because I like the name. I like to support the Italians whenever I can.
Yeah, and go ahead and go with the tactical model, a little bit shorter barrel. Design so if you turn around a corner, it's not as easy to grab the barrel of the gun, and right. So go with the tactical model, but I would encourage you to maybe go to an indoor range, maybe take some shooting lessons, get some professional instruction, just to brush up on safety techniques, different things. Be a responsible gun owner.
Absolutely. And it's been since high school since I've shot a shotgun, which is pretty crazy because that's over 20 years ago. So I think I'm probably a little bit rusty. Um, I was thinking maybe too, I could be like an old Wild West guy and get a couple of,
Get you a 6-shooter?
Give me a couple of give me a couple of 6-shooters and learn how to spin them, see if I can not blow my face off or foot off. But then I thought maybe to myself, I don't know, maybe that's just more for show and everything. But yeah, definitely a shotgun.
There's something to be said about a revolver. I don't know. They're kind of sexy.
They are very sexy too, and like a 44 or 357, that'll blow your head off, and then go through another wall and probably kill a child in another house. So it's very powerful guns. But yeah, man, I think it's that time, Bob. I definitely think it's that time to get in there, arm myself to the teeth. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to be like the Branch Davidians or anything like that and have a complete arsenal up, allegedly. I'll say that again, but definitely got to arm up.
Well, personally, from a selfish standpoint, I would like you to get a nice, good shotgun so that we can go shoot clays, because that's like the most fun thing ever. It's just, like a man's version of duck hunt.
It really is. It's almost, and that was actually definitely one of the most fun things to do. It's got that element of not only the release of firing a gun and just that satisfaction, but also with the clay, it's kind of that similar thing of the glass breaking. You know what I mean? I get a lot of sense, like just nice stress relief from that sound of breaking glass too. And you can combine both those elements. Very fun stuff.
It's a very satisfying thing to do. Like, just watching a clay just completely explode into nothing is very satisfying to do. And just, when it's like 40 yards away and you demolish it while it's on the move like that, it's a sense of accomplishment. So super fun. So I think we should throw it out to our Stiffies. What do you guys think Scott should get?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear it. Are we going to go with a Glock or something like that? Or do you guys recommend Stiffies a revolver? A little 6-shooter there, or maybe I get a little 38 special that just spins around in somebody's head. Doesn't do a lot, something like that. You never know.
What about a maybe a SIG, maybe a 45? That's a hardy gun. So yeah, Stiffies, let us know. Put in the comments or hit us up on Facebook with your opinions on what we all think Scott should buy for his gun.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to hear the feedback from one or two people.
I am too. There's a couple in mind that I think have an opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Mike will definitely chime in on that one for sure. And I'm not sure who else, so that'll be interesting. Now, picture this, Bob. I was just thinking about it when we were talking about shooting clay pigeons, how satisfying that was. As a nice little maybe suggestion, I don't know, for you for the rest of your Father's Day afternoon, could you think how wonderful it would be to be firing off your shotgun, hitting some clay pigeons while you're getting a beach? Wow.
That's just too much. That's too much. How you gonna get a bead on a clay when you're like mid climax? No way.
You got one eye closed already. So, that was silliness. What can you do, Bob?
Well, I know what I can do. I can go make a drink and wolf it down, maybe even 2.
Holy shit, it's way afternoon. We are really slacking as alcoholics. We need to get out there and mix up.
It's almost happy hour on the East Coast right now.
Whoa. All right. Well, hey, for our East Coast listeners, which we do have a lot, thank you, Florida. Thank you, New York. I know there's a couple others, but I think those are really the ones that are way up there, right? So.
Oh, and we have our French listener as well.
I love that gentleman or lady. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't want to presume.
Avid listener, though. I'll tell you that.
The Stiffies
are international.
It's like our one Stiffy, but that's international. But yeah, hit us up, Mr. or Mrs. French Stiffy, and obviously you find the show entertaining. So let us know. Maybe we can go ahead and ship an international shirt over there.
Wow. International shipping to France is going to be probably around
It's about $17.
Yeah, I was just going to say in between I think it's $16-17. Hey, that's fine.
It's not bad. I'll just use stamps.com.
I love how we constantly plug businesses that have no affiliation with us, but hopefully if we keep doing it, if you keep promoting them, they will come, Bob. They will come.
Yeah, they don't have any affiliation, but the Stiff Truth does actually use stamps.com, just to throw that out there. I don't like having to go to the post office every time I need to ship out a shirt or something. So no, I do. I'm a subscriber. I got my free scale. It's pretty legit.
And one thing I do have to clown Costco a little bit here because we always pump them up. For anybody that knows, you better make sure when you make your alcohol purchases at Costco that you're damn sure that's what you want to go with, because I had a little mishap yesterday and tried to return a handle of something, and they told me, no, sir, we don't do that. And I left Costco cussing and bitching like I normally do when I get upset, but whatever. I just went to the liquor store and got some more stuff, so case closed. Still love you, Costco. Still love you. Still love your 5-time distilled lovely vodka.
Yeah, and you're going to hate that all the way down to the looking through the bottom of that handle of JD. I'm sure it's just going to disgust you the whole time. Why? Why do I have to drink whiskey?
Well, speaking of whiskey, man, let's go do it, baby. Let's go stiff up, huh?
All right.
All right.
I just want you to know that it's all about the kids.
It's always about the kids. Stiff truth, the stiff truth, the stiff truth. Hi there.
Hi.
Sorry, I had to get a quick pic of my lovely work of art. I felt like a real fucking Tom Cruise cocktail. I know I referenced him last time, but yeah.
I shook my drink until there was frost in the mixer.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gave it a nice stir with much vigor.
I did. Let's get a money shot here.
Hold on a second. Oh,
look at that.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty awesome.
We love that.
So,
I'll tell you what, this is one of the prettiest drinks I've ever had. I mean, look at that. Look how the wine just settles beautifully on the top.
That's a fantastic drink. It tastes just as good as the day Joe Biden invented it.
Oh, you know what? I was reading about that. I was I normally like to do this. I like to understand the history of the cocktails that we have, Bob. So I read that. I was like, you know what? Not surprised at all that Joe Biden invented this in 1898. Not surprised at all.
No, sirree. You know what? And I went with a red blend.
You're like to break the law, don't you? You're a sneaky fucker.
Yeah, and I threw whiskey in it, and that wasn't rye.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can use a bourbon or a rye here, and let me explain to the Stiffies what happened to me yesterday. I do fancy myself an alcohol connoisseur. I mean,
I thought you were just going to say an alcoholic.
I guess that's what you would call that without the window dressing, huh? Oh, my goodness. Well, anyways, I do fancy myself a connoisseur of spirits and such. And here I am thinking, you know what, dude? The only thing I normally get, as you know, we talked about it before, I love scotch, right? I always have scotch. So yesterday when I did go to Costco, I was like, okay, I'm looking at the recipe. I was like, I need to get a straight bourbon or a rye whiskey. So I'm like, okay, fantastic. Let's do it. I even called you and said, hey, what do you recommend, man? You're like, I don't know. I haven't had any of that yet from Costco. I was like, oh, okay, shit. I'm just going to go in kind of blind and see what I like. Now, one thing I thought was very interesting is Costco does not have its own private label yet of a straight bourbon or a rye whiskey, unless you want their like special,
get on that.
Yeah, that's kind of and then fucking let me return booze that's unopened and I have the receipt that I bought a half hour before. But anyways, besides that, they did have a small batch like bourbon or whatever, but it was just a fifth. It wasn't handled. And as you know, I don't fucking buy fifths if I don't have to. And it was like a $30 fifth. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. Then they had a rye whiskey. They had a couple of straight bourbons that were not their private label, but they were, a little bit more affordable because they're at Costco. They even had Maker's Mark, which turns out that's what I bought later at the liquor store in the fifth. But my dumbass is like looking at the cost. And again, I don't know why I'm looking at the cost because I know I'm going to write this shit off anyway. So I don't know why I'm so focused on $10 or here or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I just kind of get this like choosing anxiety. Sometimes I can be pretty indecisive when things are a little too similar to me. And I'm like, fuck it. The cheapest out of all these whiskeys that are bourbons, I thought, was Jack Daniels. So I grab a fucking handle of Jack Daniels. It's only like $32 at Costco versus like 40 something for the others.
Sure.
I leave. I'm feeling pretty happy with myself. I call Jamie. I tell her that I got a handle of Jack Daniels. And the first thing she says is, yeah, because she can't stand Jack Daniels. And I was like, yeah, I know. Well, I needed some bourbon for the show, and we're going to make these really nice New York sours.
Did she set you straight?
No, she didn't. What happened, though, is I came back to the house, and I did a little research. And I was like, okay, because I'm reading the bottle, and I'm reading the bottle everywhere, and I'm looking for the word bourbon. I'm really hoping that the word bourbon is on here, and it's not there. Just says sour mash whiskey. I know it's a sour mash. I've known that forever. I've read the label, but I thought bourbon was kind of hidden somewhere in the fine print or something. I get on the internet. Ask Lord Google anything. Is Jack Daniels a bourbon? And it's like, no. It's like, no. It's the only American whiskey that's not classified as a bourbon because of their distilling process. As you know, they use charcoal and maple, like a maple syrup type base, and that's what gives it its unique, smooth flavor. But they also said right under that you almost never use Jack Daniels for American whiskey cocktails because it's sweeter than other ones. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, all right, I can't do this. It's going to fuck up the integrity of the drink, Bob. I can't have a tainted drink, right? So went back to Costco. We already told that story. I told them to fuck off, and then went and got myself Maker's Mark, which is ironic because Maker's Mark was sitting there in a handle at Costco for like $40.
$10 more. Right.
Yeah. For like $10 more. And then I ended up spending $21 for a fifth at the liquor store because I ran out of Costco screaming and crying like, a little bitch pretty much.
Well, I do got to say, I'm loving the egg white. I'm loving the frothiness of it.
It does give it some texture. And I haven't had a sip of my drink yet. This is ridiculous.
Oh, please get down. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever had a New York sour. We're just kind of looking up whiskey cocktails in general. Actually, we were looking at vodka ones and steered left and went this direction. When I found this, I sent it to you, and I was like, that's a fine looking drink. But I was snagged when the article that I read said, it takes a true whiskey connoisseur to appreciate the blend of a red wine and whiskey. And I was just like, I believe I'm a whiskey connoisseur.
Yeah. Or an alcoholic that drinks a lot of whiskey, right? Either or. We talked about that.
Oh, there's the difference. Okay. My bad. I didn't know.
But it does hit it pretty nice, if you ask me, man. You can taste every element in here. You can and just so the Stiffies know, I did a little bit of research on it. It wasn't really invented by Joe Biden. I know that's a big surprise because of his enormous catalog of inventions. But it was actually made in Chicago. I can't remember when, but it was supposed to be just a spin off the whiskey sour, but ended up getting popularized in New York. So hence the name New York Sour.
And it's interesting because it's nothing like a whiskey sour.
Absolutely not. So when they said, oh, yeah, this is a variation of a whiskey sour, I was like, how? Where's the sour mix? I was like, what's going on here? But
it has the lemon juice and the simple syrup, so it's kind of like a homemade sour mix.
Exactly, yeah. So I get it. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't stop staring at my glass yesterday when I was researching for the show. I was like, this is a beautiful fucking beverage. And you know what? It's got a nice kick to it. Talk about a stiff beverage, man. This is not so far with what we've done. Let's just face it. The straight Scotch is up there. But I say a rusty nail so far is our stiffest. Right?
Well, it's a glass of Scotch. So, yeah.
It's a glass of Scotch with more flavored Scotch in it. So, yeah. So that's going to be the top. Then I'm going to go ahead and say, even before the straight Scotch, that I'll go straight Scotch after that. Then I'm going to go ahead and say the Long Island iced tea was definitely right up there too. And I think this one's like kind of tied with the Long Island iced tea. It's definitely ballsy.
It's a damn fine drink, and I'm really glad that I now know how to make it.
Yeah. Now, did you pour the wine over a spoon?
I did. I got a little bit of separation, as you can see there.
Ah, that looks so gorgeous. I love it. Absolutely, man. Good stuff, Bob. Good stuff.
But yeah, I'm really liking this cocktail, and I only made one. I should have made two.
Hey.
I know. Amateur hour over here.
That's what took me so long, actually, too. And then I took a picture of it because I have to when I see something gorgeous, you know.
Yeah, good.
Same thing when I go to the school. I always got to take a picture of the kids walking by. You know what? What?
Yeah, you got to like really focus on a clean spot of the window from the back of the van.
which is really hard to do because I usually steam it up very quickly when I'm looking at the kids. Oh, Jesus. We're just going off in left field here. Anyways, hey, man, I think we got a nice little topic here today. Something that this should be relevant too, right? There's been some recent things that have come out that kind of put this back at the forefront and everything. So you want to tell everybody about it? You want to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about?
There's a couple of things that led us to this, right? First, it was the defund the police conversation, which kind of got me thinking about, well, what else can we defund that's kind of overinflated and antiquated, right? And then Scott had mentioned Jo Jorgensen, JoJo 2020. Scott's trying to get me on board.
Get out there and vote, kids.
He sells me almost every day on JoJo, but Jo Jorgensen is the libertarian candidate for president and wants to get rid of the ATF, right? The ATF?
Completely dismantle it. 100%.
So, which kind of brings the question, do we need the ATF? And on that note, do we need the DEA?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, while we're talking about antiquated things, right?
And we've already talked about this before. I don't think it's any sneaking suspicion that right along those lines, and we start talking about the DEA, I think we both have talked about our disgust and the big flop of the war on drugs in the first place too. So it's all. For anybody that's not watching the YouTube video, Bob literally just took a drink of his New York Sour like Trump, and he made sure to coddle and cradle it with both hands, and he almost made it to his lips. So good effort, Bob. Try again.
I got it there. I'm a results-driven person.
It's like this, Bob. He's like, and then trying to look cool. No, it doesn't work. Anyway,
throw a cowboy hat on that and you got a commercial. Like the Marlboro Man. That's rugged shit right there.
Yeah, sir. But yeah,
anyway, not to digress and take us off topic.
But there's a lot of, let's just face it here. I mean, libertarians are known for this. I mean, obviously now both elements of the right and left are looking to, scale down funding for the police, reallocate it really. We already talked about that, but they definitely want to bring down those budgets, right? There's too much money being pumped into these. And then we look at the ATF. Let's start with the ATF here. Honestly, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Oh, and there's another part too, and explosives.
Oh, and explosives.
Right. Yeah. So it's actually the ATF E and G, which isn't on their name, but they also handle gambling as well.
Well, it sounds like they're getting stretched out a little thin, if you ask me. It already sounds like too much to handle, but you're right. Looking at the ATF, and here's the other thing that why I said it was relevant. If anybody hasn't seen it and been living under a rock, there has been a fabulous kind of what do you call like a movie documentary? Isn't it like a docudrama? Right? Docudrama? Yeah. Great docudrama that came out about Waco. Obviously not just the town itself, but the Branch Davidians and the complete debacle that happened during, I think I want to say 1991, 92, kind of, let's just say, presented to you by the ATF, because basically the FBI got involved too, but they got involved after the ATF like just fucking totally fucked shit up, right?
Yeah, the whole reason they were there was because of the ATF.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like they were already fucking shit up. The ATF or the FBI had to come in and kind of play cleanup. Now, before that, too, if people don't know, there was the whole massacre at Ruby Ridge, right? And that's where Randy Weaver and his family lived in a remote place in Idaho. There was suspicion that he was a white supremacist. And in both of these scenarios, which I think is really shitty, the only reason the ATF got involved is because there was talk that they had arsenals, that they had a lot of firearms. What are they doing with all these guns? We got to go take them down. They're not hurting anybody, but we got to go take them down. You guys
know my take. If they're legal, we should have our arsenal. You should be able to have it.
In fact, I don't see anywhere in the Constitution or any other amendments or anything where it says you can only own X amount of firearms. I don't know.
In fact, how would you be able to stand up a militia, which is also legal, if you didn't have an arsenal?
Yeah.
It kind of goes without saying, right?
Yeah. So the ATF, gets involved in both. They they shoot and kill, I think, Randy Weaver's son and wife, right? And completely unwarranted. Of course, they do fight back. You know what happens when people start shooting at you and you have firearms? You should be allowed to reciprocate that fire, right? You're going to protect your own. And usually, right? That would be kind of the thing, or really there's no reason to be armed if you're going to be shot out and you don't shoot back. But then you got the Waco scenario too, where quite frankly, I don't think there was even a suspicion, like, did they really even have these fucking guns? Right. Was there ever any proof that they found an arsenal? So was that a smokescreen? Right? I mean, was that just like to literally get the ATF in there and involved? Very, very interesting stuff. But honestly, yeah, we go back to what Joe says, right? And what libertarians been saying for a while, and maybe some other people too. But what's the point of this? What's the point of this organization? So I don't know about you, but I did a little digging, right? And first of all, I thought it was very interesting because I was trying to make this really easy for me. You know, I'm a pretty lazy guy sometimes. So I was like, you know what? I just want to watch a documentary about the ATF. I couldn't find one. They're that lackluster and pathetic of an organization that there's no like.
Michael Moore hasn't done an expose on you guys.
You know, seriously. But you can find all kinds of stuff about the CIA, the DEA, the fucking FBI. So that was kind of a little suspect to me. They're not even given the time to like have a documentary. But doing the research that I did, I thought it was very funny. We had talked about it prior to the show. Now, it makes sense that the original purpose of the ATF, even though it was formed in 1886 originally for what they called the Revenue Laboratory, but kind of fast forwarding to where it was really kind of started getting its groove and what it was doing, it was meant basically to police, arrest, and control the illegal sale and distribution of alcohol during Prohibition, right? That totally makes sense. Your good old boy, I don't know why I said that, but Elliot Ness, one of the first ATF agents, right? I don't know why you like him so much, but you know, there's that, there's this, whatever.
He's my guy. Guy. Him and Pence.
Really, it's not really him. It's Kevin Costner. He is just drop dead gorgeous. He played him in The Untouchables. It never ended. It was love at first sight. But I think it's very interesting here. I'm not going to sit here and read through all this, but literally after Prohibition was repealed, right? The ATF was like bounced around. They were a part of the Treasury Department at first. Then they're a part of the Internal Revenue Service. Then they're a part of the Treasury Department again under a different name. It was almost like we created this organization, and now there's people that have stake in it, right? There's people that work for them. There's people that make money off of this. So they had to kind of keep it alive, but they didn't know where to put it. It was almost like, where do we put this fucking redheaded stepchild of an agency? They had no idea. And it didn't until 1972 actually be formally its own independent agency that's separate from the Treasury Department. That was finally the ATF. So that was even suspicious to me. Like, it was almost like the American government didn't know what to fucking do with them, and they kind of knew they were pointless, but they were already there. So, you know, what can you do now? You're going to put a lot of people out of jobs, so on and so forth. What do you think?
Well, so there's been 5,000-ish folks that work for the ATF. That number hasn't really changed a whole lot in 20 years. So their budget's $1.273 billion as of 2018. So I don't see the 2019 numbers in here, but that's a lot of money for. I don't know if there's ROI on that group. No. I haven't. I at first glance, I would say there's not, but I haven't dug into it enough, right, to see what else they may do that's rolled up in there. But I mean, I don't think that, you know, alcohol and firearms need a whole department to manage and license that. I think it can be done through just roll that into something else, right? Or leave it to the states.
Yeah, you can leave it to the states.
Let them license their own shit, right?
Or honestly, why can't the FBI do this?
Why can't they?
You know, they deal with a lot of things. It seems like there's a shitload of overlap between what the ATF actually is supposed to do independently and what the FBI in general is responsible for. Or like you said, even local cops, right? So,
I mean, you're a states' rights kind of a guy, right?
I'd like to think so.
All right, so like, why can't the majority of the things that ATF does be handled at a state level anyway? Why do we need a federal group like that? And because what it seems to me is, maybe I don't know. Maybe I should write my congresswoman and find out. or congressman. I don't remember what
That was
district I'm in
very,
anymore.
very PC of you, though. I like that.
But what kind of oversight are we looking at here? Are we just looking at budget renewals and justifications without actually evaluation? I don't know. Are they just signing off? We're like, oh, how many people do you have? What do you plan on doing with it? Sounds good to me. Give them the money, like the old man on Space Force.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But and then I would even say, regardless of that, my brazen talk about the DEA earlier, which is about twice the size of the ATF. They have about 10,000 people on staff, and they're at about $3.2 billion a year for their budget. So how many of these people are hired to chase people down for weed? You know what I mean? Like, how many billions of dollars are we spending trying to hunt potheads?
It seems kind of pointless, right? I mean, one, we both know potheads are completely harmless. Now, I will say this, though, unfortunately. Drug dealings tend to get pretty violent, even with marijuana involved, because they're illegal.
In the black market.
Yeah, you eliminate that. I don't think there obviously isn't any drug dealers anymore besides, the government and private enterprise, however that would shake out. Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, anytime there's a black market, there's an inherent danger. I mean, like, if you go try to sell a child, there's a black market there. It's a risky business, right?
Bob, you'd be really surprised. It's actually very streamlined, and there's a lot of good customer service in that business in child trafficking. I'll tell you that right now.
That's good. That's good. No, hey. But the part about illegal and illicit operations running awry and creating all the crime, it's never really the product that you're selling. Is what I'm trying to make. And the point I'm trying to make is it's always the black market money exchange, right? So anytime you have a large amount of money that's getting exchanged, tax free with no eyes on it, it brings another element of crime. I mean, you can look at Prohibition in the 1920s. And look at exactly what the black market and how crime blew up. I mean, Al Capone became a millionaire in a time that there weren't millionaires. Right?
It pretty much skyrocketed and jetapulted the gangsters of the 1920s and 30s to like super, super rich, super stardom kind of status, right? Without the Prohibition, a huge portion of their business is gone.
So. Yeah, and the fallout from that is crazy. So Prohibition directly correlates to organized crime. It's plain and simple. So if you take the black market away, there's no opportunity for organized crime to exist. At least there's minimal opportunity, right? And so, I mean, I know we had talked before the show about Portugal and how they addressed the problem. And there's an interesting bunch of numbers there. How their overall addiction rate went down to like 4% or something from 18.
Not only that too, their HIV transmission and other, intravenous kind of drug or disease transmission went way, way, way down. Incarceration, obviously down. Addiction, all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of things. Now, even Portugal say that the decriminalizing of drugs and how they did that with their drug policy wasn't like it wasn't it, right? That wasn't the only element that brought it down. They had some other reforms in their government, and mainly how they treated the addicts too was a big thing as well. But that's smart enough. I mean, you can't literally just rip the Band-Aid off and make drugs illegal and not have some kind of plan, right, to follow through with a lot of programs to help addicts. So there's that too, but still.
So that's what it was. The 4, and it wasn't 4%. It was HIV infection was 104 new cases per million people in 2000. Now it's 4 cases per million people as of 2015.
No. And those are usually just people that cross paths with Mike Pence at the gay bars there. So it's really, really dwindled down.
He's been busy the last few years. He hasn't had time to go to Portugal.
He's like, well, I jet here, I jet there.
So, and how they now treat drug addiction as a medical condition and not as a policing problem.
And it takes the stigma off of it too if you do that, right? It kind of changes things.
Yeah, it's not dangerous. It's not risque. I know that if you look at kind of how Amsterdam treats their drugs, right? Everyone thinks everyone goes and smokes weed. Well, yeah, you can actually do pretty much any drug in Amsterdam. They have these places where you can go shoot up heroin.
Yeah, they have clinics for it.
But you can't do it on the street, right?
No.
So you can't smoke weed on the street. You can't shoot up smack in the street, all of that. But because of that openness and the drugs are no longer taboo, the kids in Amsterdam look down on drug addicts. Like a lot of the world looks down at Americans for being alcoholics, right? Mm-hmm. So because like when you're in France and you're 13 or whatever and you're drinking wine because it's legal early, it's not taboo. You're used to it. So by the time you're not going on your Rumspringa, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you turn 21 and going ape shit, right? Because you're just already used to it and you have other business to attend to. So that's kind of the thing. When drugs aren't taboo anymore, then it becomes much less of a social problem because then kids aren't trying to get away with the dangerous part in their teens when they're trying to do anything to rebel.
Can I put it another way too? Sure. It's literally it's like a parallel to the stereotype of Catholic schoolgirls and how they're freaky as fuck in bed, right? Because they've been reserved and pinned down and they're not really allowed to live really as a normal kid. So they get out of there and they go guns blazing the other direction, right? Man, I don't know. That's just kind of the same kind of parallel, if you ask me.
And then when they get back from J10, they're ready to get back to their religious studies.
we scare them straight right back, right back into the sisterhood.
So the point is if we had, over $4 billion and the DEA and the ATF didn't exist, and drugs weren't a crime, what does that do to the prison population?
Well, I think it dwindles it down to the people that should only be in prison, which is nice. What does that do? We pay a lot of money to keep people in prison, taxpayers, correct? So that would be another huge cost savings right there. And then even if it's not a dramatic cost savings, all that money that we would save from the billions of dollars not being pumped into these organizations and incarcerating people that shouldn't be there anyways, which is more money again, that frees up a shitload of money to do what? Reinvest that in our people, reinvest that in the people that have drug problems and all that stuff, so we can actually create a very, very healthy system of rehabilitation and integrating those folks back into society.
So I'm going to throw it out there. Just lay it on out there. 45.
Look at the size of that thing.
45.9% of all prisoners in America are there for drug offenses.
Holy shit.
To the inmate statistics from the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Now, again, we've said it before, but 49%, I'm no Andrew Lang, but it's not the majority, but it's overwhelming if you think about everything that people are put in jail for, right? Every kind of crime that's out there, and nearly half is all drug related. And I bet you that you can probably pull up a little, another statistic, not right now maybe, but I bet you the majority out of that 49% is marijuana.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see because we all know that that's the most commonly abused drug other than alcohol.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's changed slightly since we've had the decriminalization of marijuana in certain states, but it's still not a nationwide thing. So I feel that's probably, and I'm just going to throw this out there, out of the 49%, I'm saying marijuana is at least half or more of that. I'm almost going to guarantee it.
Yeah, I would assume that you're right. So there's a bunch.
I appreciate that.
Don't get used to it. So there's a bunch of obstacles to ever doing something like that because first off, prisons are privatized, and those owners of prisons are lobbying.
Unique New York. Come on, get it in. Work it out, Bob.
They're lobbying their congressmen and their senators, and they're paying them,
sure,
hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to keep these laws in the books. So there's that bureaucracy that you have to break through to make any sort of institutional change into that system. But how much better off would Americans be if, how many of those prisoners, those 45.8%, 8%? Oh, I pulled it down.
I thought it was 49%. Oh, geez.
Whatever it is, about half. How many of those prisoners are, fathers, that do not live and are not fathering their children at home because of weed, because of any drug. Really, I don't really care.
I could probably tell you, Bob. I got a list because I'm actually stepping in as the father figure for those folks. Let me see.
So what I'm saying is, and then that creates further ails. Last week we talked about treating the disease in America instead of treating the symptoms when we talked about
Yeah.
defunding the police or reforming the police is how we like to call it better, so it's not misunderstood as much. But then you look at this stat here, and this is another example of this is something that we've done the way we've always done it. If you look at the budget for the DEA over the last
My
30 years,
God.
it's grown from 600 million under Reagan to 3.2 million now last year currently. So we're throwing more money, and are we seeing these problems go away?
No, they're getting worse.
As a taxpayer, I get really tired of American dollars going at problems that aren't eliminating the problems. We should be throwing money in the direction that is an actual solution to problems. Hashtag part of the solution.
Yeah, 100%. Or I would even take it this far, Bob, that are not even fucking problems to begin with, my friend. Like
Right.
another thing that libertarians stand for, and I hate to keep plugging that, but I just love it, so I'm going to. But getting everybody out of jail for non-victim crimes, right? If there's not a victim, you shouldn't be in jail. And overwhelmingly, that's the people that are in there for drugs, right? Overwhelmingly, because everybody else, you can probably say there's a victim. Even white-collar crimes like embezzlement, there's victims to that kind of shit.
Another way to explain it would be self-victim, right? If the victim of the crime is yourself, that's another way to look at it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be punished for hurting yourself. Last time I checked, we live in a free fucking country where we should be able to do whatever we want as long as not we're infringing on the rights of somebody else or hurting other people. Correct?
Well, we should be able to pursue, life, liberty, and happiness.
Oh, look at you! Are you reading some of the pages out of that book behind you there? Bob's got a copy of the Constitution behind him, and his graphic just for all the people that are listening to us on the podcast platform.
So this does kind of tie into the philosophy, and I think you guys kind of know, and I'm sure you'll disagree with this, but fuck you. I don't really care. That's why this is the stiff truth, and that's why you guys love it.
Yeah, because we're very open-minded. That's why.
That's right. We're right and you're wrong, and that's that. No, of course that's not the answer. But what it is like it's time to open up the discussion. It's time to evaluate and make a good decision. How many of all of you are out there in the workforce or in a position of leadership to where you help make decisions? How do you make those decisions? When you go to make those decisions, you evaluate the data, you look at the cost effectiveness, and you make a decision to move forward to solve a problem. You don't just be like, oh, what are we doing now? Well, just throw more money at it. Increase the budget. It'll fix itself. No, that's not how we do it. Why do we let our congressmen and our senators do it that way? It's got to stop. We've got to start evaluating how we're doing things. We're becoming a laughing stock in the rest of the world, and it's fucking sad. We should be leading, not hoping.
Just now becoming? Just now?
Yeah, just right as I was talking.
well, that really escalated quickly. Let me tell you that. No, you're absolutely right, dude. And I mean, getting back to a couple of the things here. I mean, there is just, it's unfortunate, and I think you had mentioned it too. I was kind of spacing out for a minute, so sorry if I missed this. I tend to do that when I think about gay sex, but and I'm trying to pray it away. But
you'll get there.
He's okay. Give it hell. Look, it took me 5 years, but I got there. Not that there's anything wrong with gay people. Come on now, guys. We know how we jest. But all of these organizations that were created for, let's say, again, in good intention, right? I don't think Reagan was like, hey, you know what? I'm really going to kick up this fucking war on drugs. Believe it or not, I think a little fun fact, I actually think it was Gerald Ford that started this little spitball because his wife was a hardcore drunk and she got put in the Betty Ford clinic that they named it after her. So I think that's kind of where it started with the addiction thing, but still Reagan kind of fucking put that bitch in space and not like Elon Musk did. Love Muskie. I'm all over the place right now. But the point is you've got all these agencies of the government that either are outdated, they do more harm than they do good, right? but you can't get rid of them. There's too many people now, and they're so ingrained institutions into the fabric of American society that if you tried, like you were saying, and like we would love to make this conversation and kind of get this snowball rolling, unfortunately, there's too many people with vested interests. There's too many people employed by these agencies, and there's too many lobbyists that benefit from having these agencies. It's going to be very, very hard to make anything happen if somehow that doesn't change. So I'd like to start that conversation with you. How do we actually get the vested interest kind of flipped to the other side?
Well, I can tell you the one thing, and it's probably not a sexy topic for some, but campaign reform is probably the way to start.
Ooh,
right?
God. Can you say that again into the microphone in a lower voice?
Campaign reform.
Oh,
So I believe that campaigns should not accept lobbyist money or private interests ever. I think that people should get a set amount of money
Bob
to
is
campaign
crazy.
with.
He's crazy.
If they get a set amount of money from the government, that say, hey, you're running for a congressman. All right, how many people are running? How many people are in primary or whatever? Here's your $50,000 a piece to run in the primary. Now, all right, you made it in the primary. Now it's general election as a congressman, for instance. All right, you have $500,000 to run with, and that's it. If you want to reach more people than that's going to reach, hit the fucking streets and start shaking hands and kissing babies. And get your ass out there and go meet people and put in the work.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Biden does that very well, kissing babies. He doesn't just stop at babies either. Any female really will do. Any female under the age of 18, he seems to really enjoy. Sorry.
Why are you trying to distract me? So that's part of the problem, right? So if the lobbying ends, then the corporations have zero control. Then things like this can actually be entertained without any repercussions because you're already protected from how you're going to campaign and get reelected. So you don't have to worry about if fucking, Sig Sauer is going to give you, $50,000 to campaign next year because you want to promote some, gun right or that they're not wanting to let you pass or whatever. Fine.
You think about how refreshing it would be too if politicians were actually able to run off their own beliefs and policies and not what they're prodded to believe in or to push. Wow, that would be really refreshing.
Right, and that's the whole thing. We need to get these corporations to quit buying the Constitution and getting amendments passed and whatever laws changed and ratified or whatever. It's ridiculous that private interests have so much control over our lawmaking abilities, and we need to get rid of it. You should not be able to buy America.
Well, I mean, if I had enough money, I'd try, I guess. No, I'd probably go with the private island like Epstein did.
How was that island?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I went there a lot when I was a kid. I got really good at giving massages. It was fun. It was fun. Good times. Saw Bill Clinton there. That was cool.
Allegedly.
Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself. Moving on.
So, yeah. The list of who wanted that guy dead is like infinitely long, right?
That is definitely another show, and I do want to talk about it. So
we've joked about Hillary because honestly, I think there's a narrative that was pushed at one point, and it's funny. But beyond that, if you really want to look at the list of who wanted him killed, Hillary's not first in line. There is a long list of people, though.
Sure, she's about
would be.
She's about third or fourth in line. She's about third or fourth.
She might be on there, but I don't know.
I don't know. Does she really care if Bill gets fucking arrested for that? Does she really care if he just magically goes away? I'm not sure she really does at this point.
Does she really care about anything to do with their marriage? I mean, it's been questionable for a long time. But regardless of that, there's a lot of wasted money and wasted effort on the things that we do and the way that our country is legislated and managed has gotten out of control. And we got to start wrangling it back in. And as these old codgers literally fucking die out in Congress and the Senate, it's an opportunity for,
some fresh blood, baby.
Real Americans to try to take the country back.
Absolutely. And I love what you said there too, man, because that's something that makes me so upset. And yeah, I joke around here about libertarians and voting third party, but honestly, the reason why I'm so disgusted with trying to choose, and it's not just the candidates that are up right now, but typically in the recent years, I've voted Democrat and Republican in past elections, just so people know. I usually go with who I think is like has the best policies that I identify with and think would be good for me and mine and the rest of the community. I know that's not a popular thing to do anymore when you're voting, but
You can't just vote blindly on how you register and just fill in the bubbles on the left or the right side, and you're good.
I usually go by who holds their water better. You know what I mean? Trump's got my vote this year because, man, he two hands that bitch like a cock. But uh, but beyond that, what I was trying to say is why I'm so disgusted. There he goes. Bob's doing it again. He's about to do it. There he goes, double fisting it. And I'm just talking about holding the bottle with two hands. Was that good? Did you feel confident in that one?
Yeah, I was holding it. There's not a drop on me.
My God, because that suit you're wearing is very expensive.
I don't want to mess up my high thread count Sesame Street shirt.
Love that. And I definitely don't want to get anything on my Target bought instant ramen shirt that I'm wearing right now too. This is priceless. But what I was going to say too is the reason why I'm so disgusted, especially recently, and let's not get it wrong, it's been like this for a while, but the last few elections, especially just the parties themselves, not the candidates, they are so in bed with corporations. And we both know that these corporations are the ones pulling the strings, right? For both parties. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
It's the two sides.
There's different corporations for each party, but yeah, corporations nonetheless.
Two sides of the same coin, right? Republicans and Democrats too. And what's the most refreshing to me is, yeah, the Libertarian Party, they don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of funding. They're not taking all kinds of money from lobbyists and corporations. And that to me is what's refreshing, is because what comes out of their mouths about what they want to happen is stuff like what we're talking about. Getting rid of these ridiculous agencies that do nothing but waste a lot of money and incriminate people that shouldn't be there, right? Or whatever it is. So, it's tough, man, because if we could strip that away from all parties, maybe we'd see some light at the end of the tunnel for all the parties. That would be my hope anyways.
Yeah, and it's got to start somewhere. And I know that like no one really thinks about it, but one of the biggest problems facing America today is campaign reform, because that's where it starts, and a lot of people know of it. It was a topic in the Democratic debates. It came up a few times. It is talked about. I don't think people actually look into how devastating that our current campaign practices that are allowed are to our infringement on our constitutional rights and the ability to govern America. But that's what we're here for, right? We're here to spread awareness. So you guys, it's not all dick and fart jokes. There's also campaign finance and Biden invented everything jokes. So
yeah. And Andrew Lang jokes and Pence being homosexual jokes. There's a lot that we try to really make this a dynamic show.
Yeah, POTUS BJs is new. We'll add that to the list.
Yeah, that's a good one too. and getting a BJ while you're shooting clay pigeons, we're going to throw that in the mix too, right?
That's another one. one. So, yeah, if you guys haven't ever thought about it, and you're wondering, how do we start? I think that's the natural place to start. There's a lot to get done after that point, but getting corporations, money out of the pockets of our politicians is probably the number one thing that's hurting us from moving forward right now.
Absolutely. 100%, man. Well, I wish I could do more. I can only do what I can. And this is actually something that we're doing very positively as we're talking about it. We are starting the dialogue that maybe a lot of people haven't heard.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not sexy, right?
Good for us.
It's not sexy. It's not going to get the tweet views.
Speak for yourself. I got a half chub throughout this entire conversation. I'll tell you that right now.
There's going to be a couple of Stiffies that are really interested that we brought up campaign reform.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. Absolutely. Well, I don't know, man. You wanna leave it here, or I think we could. I feel like we could talk about this more because there's just more facets to it. There's more agencies that we could talk about, but maybe we just leave it here.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We can think on it again too, and think if there's any other other federal employees that we want to put on the chopping block.
Can I bring one up?
Sure.
The IRS.
Well, someone's got to collect our taxes.
Yeah, but if we had a flat tax, we could do it ourselves.
Flat tax. Come on. We can't all pay equal taxes, Scott. That'll never happen.
I know that's an outrageous idea too, but anyways, yeah, there's more that can be said. Maybe we'll continue this conversation at a later time in another show. Maybe we won't. I don't know, but I think hopefully this is going to get some people to think out there, and that's one thing I know that that's happened with me and Bob is it's triggered some thought process about what the hell are these things good for? Should they even be there? Why are we wasting all this fucking money? Like you said, why do we just keep throwing money at shit that obviously is failing or that doesn't have a lot of value or that has adverse value, right? So,
yeah, it's like when people in a failing marriage go to marriage counseling. You know it's just going to end in divorce. Just pull the trigger.
Why pay the thousands of dollars just to make it happen faster after you say what you really mean about your wife? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're just stretching it out. You're stretching it out.
There's no reason to make this tantric. Just get it done.
Rip the Band-Aid off and move forward.
Well, shit. I think unless do you have some more to say about it?
Yeah, I have plenty to say about it, but I think we're running up against it anyway. But I'd like to invite the Stiffies, if they have anything that they'd like to say about it, hit us up. And if you have a topic that you'd like to get mine and Scott's, opinions on, let us know. And we're more than willing to engage with our audience. Let us know on YouTube. Let us know on Facebook. Hell, email us at Bob or Scott at thestifftruth.com.
Guys, if you can't even do that, I'll give you my personal phone number. Okay, I don't even care. Just there's so many communication platforms out there. I want to hear from you guys. I know there's got to be a lot of hot topics out there, and I'm sure me and Bob have some opinions that you guys won't like, which I think will be fun.
Yeah, it's what we live for. It's disappointing everyone. Ask my children and my wife. It's nonstop all the time.
I was just going to say that too. You beat me to it. I love it. That's fantastic, man. Well, good shit, man. I think we go ahead and close it out here, man. Again, guys, this has been fun. We love all you guys out there, not just the Stiffies, but the people that are open-minded enough to give us a listen or give us a check out here and there. And man, I got to tell you, I'm really pumped that we've knocked out 20 of these bad boys. Here's to 20 more, right?
Yeah, for sure. I would toast to you, but I finished my drink.
Oh, I got a new one right here.
I don't have that second one. I would like to say, hey, France, hit us up. You guys like some Stiff Truth swag? Hit us up.
I would love to get some international opinion, actually, So
yeah, for real, I'd like to see, what their consumption of what's happening over here in America is and how that's presented to them versus how we see it over here.
Yeah.
And that would be a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah.
But other than that, the same thing. I was looking at the YouTube stats. 40% of our viewers aren't subscribed, and that is a travesty. Yeah. So
we got 200. Here's the other thing that doesn't equate. We got 205 followers on our Facebook page and 53 subscribers, I believe. Again, I'm no Andrew Lang, but that does not equate, my friend. It does not equate. So guys, let's do this, please. If you can, it helps us out, not only for just personal pride, but also the more traction we get, the more that we're going to be able to improve the show, give you guys better content, and really just have a lot more fun. So let's get that going. Get in there, subscribe, ring the bell. If you're on the podcast platforms and that's your preference, guys, make sure to write us a review on iTunes, right? Or can you do that on Spotify, by the way, or no?
I don't think there's reviews on Spotify now.
That's fine. Just keep listening to us on Spotify then. But get out there, check us out, guys. The other thing, too, again, happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there. I know a lot of you guys don't get a lot of credit sometimes, but this is our day. Keep taking care of your families. And beyond that, unless you have anything else to say, Bob, I'm just going to say enjoy the rest of this nice holiday weekend. I'm going to call it a holiday weekend, right? And get ready for another exciting episode next week because it's coming at you.
Yep, that's it. That's all I really have to say. So see you guys next week.
Take care. That's refreshing.
Gaggle, dude. Now, I'm no Andrew Lang, but I think you took it too far, Bob. Well, I just want you to know that it's all about the kids.
It's always about the kids. If truth, the if truth.